Hello everybody, it is Tuesday the 25th of February. I just got a comment, thank you, asking me if I was alright. Not really. Right, I've been trying to pray, and prayer as in not thought, not words, but the belief on an outcome and feeling the feeling of that outcome, because that is the truth of prayer. The knowledge that you have received it, and then it will be yours. So I've been trying that, and it is extremely hard. And really trying to think about prayer itself, what is actually happening, or why is it going wrong. Now I want to talk about prayer here. I want to talk about the problem with prayer. Three things I want to talk about. First one is what is happening in the world as a whole, because I had a thought about that. Praying for others, which absolutely does not work. You can't. I want to talk about that. And in the end, I want to talk about the ego and Satan standing in the way, because he most certainly is. All right, let me talk about this. Let me start with the world, just very quickly. It's just a thought I had about this. And that is, if you say everything is energy, everything is consciousness, everything that has life is conscious on some level, and everything is. I mean, they've done experiments where even plants seem to have some sort of memory and an emotional reaction to things. So they are conscious on some level. So I think the way we are trying to, or some in this world are trying to create a world that is good for themselves, and really going up or disregarding everything else but themselves, and especially disregarding every other level of consciousness in this world, that is the vegetative, the animal, the rock, the mineral. I think what is the way that nature is going haywire at the moment is they are praying. The animal, the vegetative, the rock, they are praying. They are having a reaction to what it is we are doing, and their prayer is being answered. And it obviously comes up against us then, because we are the ones doing wrong. So then everything is consciousness, everything is prayer. And although the plant, for instance, would not obviously consciously, or not as consciously as we do, pray, it has got an energetic reaction to what is happening, and that is a prayer. So I would say the prayer of every other level in this world is being answered by what is happening in nature. And it does come up against us, because we are the ones that are doing wrong. So that's the first thing. Second thing I also want to talk about is praying for others, and that you absolutely cannot do it. I've just reached that conclusion. You can pray with others, but you cannot pray for them. So if you wanted a change in another person in your life, if you wanted a change because they are doing something that is harmful to themselves, that is harmful to the life of everybody else around them because they are affected by what is happening to that person. You cannot pray for them. The only way a change could happen is if that person were to come into agreement that that change has to happen. Yeah? And only if you come into agreement and your energies are combined in the same desire for the same outcome can it work. It is actually in the Bible, in the teaching of Jesus, when he said, bring the gospel to them, and if they do not receive it, joyfully walk away. Because that is all you can do. In the end, they have free will, and you cannot go up against that. You're bouncing yourself off a brick wall. So if they receive it joyfully, if they come into agreement, then the thing can fly. But if they don't, there's nothing you can do. I mean, on the level of talking, yes, you can continue talking until you're blue in the face. But on the level of prayer, it absolutely cannot work. So, no, you cannot pray for somebody else, only with somebody else. And then I just had this one thought, I just throw this in here quickly, and that is, again, what Jesus did was, one was the knowledge of prayer, the knowledge of how it works. And the other is what it is you're asking for. Yeah? So Jesus had the knowledge of prayer, and his idea was that we should desire an outcome where this kingdom of heaven would come to earth and rule over all of us. That is what you do with it, with that knowledge. Yeah? And then he wanted others to come into agreement with him. That is, and Christians are doing it. I really, again, I think they haven't thought it through. Or they don't know what they're doing. For me, no, I don't want something to come from the heaven and take complete dominion over this world and rule over all of us for all eternity. No, thank you. Yeah, I do not want to live in a heavenly dictatorship. And I really think Christians haven't thought that through. I mean, in this world, most of them don't want to live in a dictatorship. Most Christians live in democracies, yeah, and they want to have that freedom. So I don't know why they're on their knees asking to be ruled over. I don't know. But the thing is, and here is that actually a wasted prayer? Yeah? Or is there actually something out there, another entity? And again, we're talking on the level of entity. We're talking about beings that are actually in agreement with that. That is their desire. They exist, and that is their desire. So, sadly, this may not be a wasted prayer, because there might be something out there that is in agreement and the energies do combine in a prayer. And if it gets strong enough, it might be given to. God forbid. Right. So now the last part, and this is really where I am at in my personal life. It is the question, what should you pray for? Obviously, it should be something that others do not work against, or nature does not work against. Yeah? You should be going with the nature of things, not up against. The more you do, the better the outcome will be. Yeah, you might be given, but if you're in conflict with everything else around you, you'll not enjoy what you have been given. As I said, prayer for others is useless. Only if you had people that are in agreement with your vision of what should happen, and you could actually bring this thought to them. I mean, the thought of prayer, to even bring that idea to them. I think for most, they wouldn't believe. So if you're left only by yourself, praying for yourself, and here is, in the end, it is always a self that does pray. And here comes the ego, where people say do away with the ego. No. The ego is the I am. The ego is that which asks. And if there's no I am, what is asking? If there's no I am that has an experience out of which a desire may come, where should the desire come from? There's no experience, there can be no desire, there can be nothing that asks. There can be no prayer. So we are all a part of the Creator. As human beings, we are sentient, we are conscious of self, and out of that comes our prayer, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it has to be there for the whole thing to work. And even if you go, I mean, by the experience we're having now as a separate entity, which we are, if you go with near-death experiences, you're still a separate entity. You're still experiencing yourself amongst others. So that doesn't change. So what they are saying, to become one with the Creator, or I will become one with the Creator, is not going to happen. The only way you can be one with the Creator is if the I dies. The I has to be dead, has to be gone. And then you will not experience being one with the Creator, because there will be nothing there that can experience that. So that whole thing is complete nonsense. So we're being left with I am. I am that which is asking. And here comes Satan. Satan is the adversary. Satan is that which speaks against something happening. For the most part, Satan is part of heaven, has always been part of heaven throughout the entire Bible. He's part of the council. He's part of your council. He's that which speaks against. The voice that speaks against. And for the most part, Satan is an extremely important part of reason. To be reasonable. There are things you might want to do, or emotions might want to drive you to doing something. I don't know, you're going into complete rage, you want to take the kitchen knife and just start slaughtering everything around you. In which case, the voice of Satan that will speak against it, if you are of sound mind, because if he's there, he's part of that which makes your mind a sound mind. So he will hold you back. And in which case it's good. It should hold you back. Apparently there are many in this world now, you hear about all these attacks where people do take the kitchen knife or a gun or whatever and just go out there and do whatever. And then you would say they are not of sound mind doing that. That's because Satan has left the building. There's no more voice speaking against. So yes, he absolutely has to be there, to a point. And to a point he is your servant. The adversaries are your servants. Now, so the being I am, the being a person, is not the problem. It has to be there. The adversary itself is not a problem. For the most part, he's not a problem. He's part of sound reasoning. Problem is linear thinking. And that is really where what prayer is going to take you. It takes you out of linear thinking. And this is where I'm stuck. This is where I'm absolutely stuck. Because I just go into linear thinking like this. Yeah? Feel the feeling of what will happen next. And linear thinking is what I'm in. Like at the moment, see the range behind me? This is freezing cold. I'm out of oil again. I knew it yesterday, and here it comes. I knew it. That is what I knew. And that is linear thinking. Yeah, I knew there was nothing left in the tank. I knew the bloody thing will go out any minute now. And that is linear thinking. I know there's no money in my bank account. I know there'll be no hot water or heat for the next 2 weeks at least. That is what I know. And that is the problem. That is the problem with prayer. Because you need to go beyond that. And one way of going beyond that would obviously be thinking of possibilities. Where should it come from? And then, if you cannot think of possibilities, or you cannot believe on win the lottery, there's one. But then you have to believe, you have to know that you will win. That is prayer. Feel the feeling of you know you've already won. It's already happened. No. Because again, there's a rational mind. Numbers are bugger. They really are. They can tell you the odds, yeah, of winning the lottery. And that again will drive you into disbelief. That is the problem. That is the absolute point where the problem is. To go beyond that. Into the Creator, into the quantum field of all possibilities. And really thinking in a way that all those other possibilities are possible. And maybe every one of them is as possible as everything else. There are no more odds. Yeah, it's one thing is as likely as the other. All you have to do is choose your destiny and feel the feeling of it has already happened. And here it comes. That's all you have to do. Hell. That is so extremely hard. But again, this is what I am trying to work on. And that is working on myself. And this is what we all have to do. We have to work on ourselves. The shift of thinking, the shift of knowing yourself and what it is you're in. That shift has to happen inside of yourself. I know what has to happen, but I'm just not there yet. But I am working on it. That is the work I'm doing right now, the works. There needs to be a works. You need to work on yourself. I mean, we're being indoctrinated by everybody, or by the church, or by politics, or by science. Trust the science, follow the science. The science is completely linear, Newtonian. And you really have to self-indoctrinate yourself into a different thinking. And you will have to do that by yourself, because there's nothing in this world at the moment that will do that for you or even help you do it. Because everything you can hear is saying the opposite. So that's where I'm at right now. Trying to go quantum in the way I see myself and what it is I'm in. And really, get ye behind me, Satan. That is the thing. And here is, Jesus did not throw him out. Yeah, he heard the voice. Yeah, he heard the voice, he heard the counsel. He just said, no, I'm going on. I've heard you, I've dismissed you, get behind me. Get out of my way so that the prayer can fly. But only for the point of the prayer. And that is, again, that which speaks again, why Satan seems to be extremely Newtonian and linear. You can't. That cannot happen. It's not, that is the thing. It can. That's what prayer says. That's what belief says. It can. To get to that point, that is where we need to get to. I think as humanity, that is where we need. That is the jump. That is the evolution that we have to go through. And that is within ourselves. That is not saying we're going quantum. All there are beings in other dimensions and stuff like that. You know, again, looking outside of yourself for another dimension. You need to find that dimension within yourself. And be it. Live in it. Right. So, this is where I'm at. Trying to get that into my own thick head. And I will continue to do so. So am I alright at the moment? No, not really. I'm at war. Hope it will change. Hope I'll get there. We'll see. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today, and talk to you again next time. See you then. Bye.